went with this Eric guy. There's something special about this guy. And I could tell that he thought a lot of you and the direction you were headed with the company and the job you were doing. And me having the relationship I had with Sting, I went into the meeting with an open mind, and I didn't think of you when I got together with you as a peon announcer that I knew, because Sting already told me he thought that you were always treating him fairly, and he had nothing but good things to say about you. So when I went to the meeting, I definitely went there with an open mind and was to see if there's. I was really looking to look at if WCW kind of really not to backtrack again, but it was kind of something where I got started where my real home was. So I got a huge push at WWF, and we were talking about maybe me being switched back heel and getting a big push at WWF possibly. I was kind of not involved in a big program at the time. I'd done the Narcissist and Lex Express, and then I had done the Allied Powers, the Daisy Boy, and I was in transition there, pod being switched heel, and kind of let the press the restart and refresh button for a while. And so I was kind of weighing, should I do that? And I have a great relationship with Vince, or should I, take a look at WCW if that's even an opportunity for me. I went to the meeting, I didn't know if you even give me the opportunity to come in. So that's kind of where I was at when I went into that meeting.
And here's, this is one thing that I want to make sure that anybody that listens to this understands. Is I went into it skeptical, very skeptical, and it really was a courtesy more than what I didn't have a plan. I didn't say, I didn't have this idea in my head that, oh my gosh, if I could bring Lex Luger in and everybody thinks he's in WWE or WWF at the time, and I can sneak him into Nitro. There was no master plan. I wish there was. Like I said, I would sound much smarter than I really am. But there wasn't. It was just, a lot of coincidences and things just kind of fell into place. But in that meeting, I went, because WCW, for people listening to this right now, that just can't possibly understand it unless you lived it, between the, Bill Watts, Kip Fry, Jim Herd, transitions in management, it was just nothing but chaos and dysfunction. And I had finally gotten WCW to the point where there was like a little bit of hope. There was a chance that we were going to be able to pull this thing together. And the last thing that I wanted was to bring someone in that was going to upset the apple cart. Looking back at it now, you despite the fact that Sting, campaigned heavily to convince me that that would be the case, I was afraid that bringing you back would be kind of resurrecting a lot of that chaos and anxiety and drama and, Atlanta Housewives, Knots Landing kind of drama. Right. Understandable. And I was so afraid of that I was very resistant. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to fast forward just a little bit. You and I talked. By the way, this is one of the reasons why I respect you as much as I do. We agreed to keep all of our conversations secret, and they stayed secret. Nobody knew we were talking. And to me, that was like, okay, we can accomplish that, then we can probably accomplish some other things. So right off the bat, once we first met, it stayed quiet. I felt a little bit more comfortable, and then the picture started coming into my head. But my real, and I don't want to say that this was a test or this was my way of what you had done. I offered you that deal, and I will say, I will admit this to you on this podcast.
fair trial. And if he accepts it, I know that he's sincere. That was kind of my thinking going into it. What was your right? Because I think I offered you like $150,000, which was like almost minimum wage for a TV player at that time. What do you think?
Sting, being the intermediary between us, assured me she was kind of embarrassed that you were offering me that, but Sting told me because of the way he thought of you, Lex, I know what you can do to come back in here. He goes, I think Eric will see that. This I know about Eric. And you performed. He goes, Sting was asked as well. He said,
yeah, we got a match, dude. Let's get down, man. What's up, man? Damn, you got a shitload. What's going on? Can you hear me? You got 291, bro. Good shit. Your dude looks like Fandango, bro. Your dude looks like Fandango, man. Look like fucking Finn Balor had a baby with Fandango. Yeah, dude, I'm a 90s baby.
Superstar just received for this vanilla crowd is almost indescribable. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. The junction of match makes the intention unmistakable to belittle.
Ah, good shit. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, shit. That was tight. That was tight. Oh, look at this stupid shit. Oh, you should have came and got me. Nice, nice. Fuck. God damn it. Yeah, I done fucked up.
I got the visiting hours for your mom.
All right. Well, I'm not going anytime soon.
All right, it's Tuesday at 11, Thursday at 7 p.m.
I'm not gonna remember that.
I have it written down on calendar.
All right. All right, that's cool. Oh, wow.
Nicely done.
Oh, you faggot. No, what the fuck? What? Oh. Oh. Oh shit! Oh no! Man, you motherfucker! Leave me alone. Oh! Oh, man, I don't have a reverse. Man, I swear, dude, I should have had a reverse right there, man. Leave me alone. Motherfucker, man. You got fucking 4 reverses, man. Shit. Yeah. Damn. Come on. Come on, goddammit. Ah, fuck up, fuck up. What the fuck? The fuck was that? Man, god damn it, man. What the fuck, man? Oh my god. What the fuck, man? Oh shit. Oh damn. Oh, that's a good match, bro. That's a good match. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Come on, motherfucker. Come on. Oh. Oh. Come on, come on, come on. Man, what the fuck is this? Come on, man. Come on. What the fuck is this? What? Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, get him away from me. He should be disqualified. He hit me in the nuts like 2 times, man. Hey man, keep doing that shit. He's gonna disqualify you, man. What the fuck is that? Let's go. Let's go. You gonna beat me, but you gonna respect me, baby fuck. Oh no! It's a good ass match, bro. It's a good match. I want to add you up, man. You're gonna get your ass disqualified. Oh. Hey, they don't disqualify you for that shit in a normal match? What? Oh, fuck. I'm trying to break your weed now.
played out. It wasn't. It was timing. It was coincidence. It was reading the audience. Being in tune with the way people felt. But I can understand why a guy like you, with your physique, look, history. Typically, a guy like you, hard to get sympathy on a guy. He's big, or he was good looking. Everything that you embodied as a character. How do you get heat on that guy? Or how do you get sympathy? How do you get sympathy on that guy? It's really hard to do without making that character look wimpy or doing something silly, or trying to overachieve in that respect. And that whole story just kind of fit so organically. It was cool. It was really cool.
And I was in position. At one point, I think it like 47 straight Monday nights. We were all up playing. You guys find the little bones. So that was Detroit. But you guys, once again, let nobody find out. I didn't learn. I was really basically almost right before I went to the ring that I was going to win a gold title that night. And I'll never forget that. People ask me the highlights of my career. That was such an honor. I'll never forget that. People ask me the highlights of my career. That was such an honor. I'll never forget that. People ask me the highlights of my career. That was such an right before I went to the ring that I was going to win a gold title that night. And I'll never forget that. People ask me the highlights of my career. That was such an honor. That you and Hogan, obviously, because he had some creative control as well. That was such an honor. And I never forget until Nick, the referee, to West almost before he went to his eyes were as big as saucers. It was such a shock. The Detroit crowd, I'll never forget. It was a huge pop. Probably one of the biggest pops I ever had in my career. But it was delayed. Because NWO had left up playing and had done so much, had so much heat that the crowd in Detroit, I had the world title and all the WCW guys filled the ring. You guys wanted to throw the ball, and of course, Hogan would win it back 6 weeks later out at what was that, Hog Wild? And it was a brilliant idea because it was just a little brawl. Because I think you guys know much more than I do about the fans. You felt like, okay, we've got this man like 47-0. And you guys are encouraged to keep the ball because you're almost like, how you guys keep the ball, you guys keep running over the audience. You guys must have figured, I never knew why you guys did that, but you guys must have wanted to give the fans just a little bit of bone with the blue-collar baby faces that had been laying in non-shows and beer every week at the end of the show. And the fans had after each show, at the end of each show. And it was delayed. People waited like 10 seconds when they realized I really did win the world title and beat Hogan. They couldn't believe it. But number one, it was done live on Nitro. Hogan never got beat live on television. Like really, Hogan just got beat live on television. It was an amazing moment. I never have to thank you really for that either. That was an incredible moment in my career. It was a big wow, man.
It was a big moment for all of us. Let's fast forward now. We've had our success. NWO's doing great. WCW's doing great. We're outperforming the WWE. And now I want to get into some of the more controversial aspects of your life, your career, what you've gone through. I ended up getting, shown to the door in September of 1999. Before I left, you had already established, it was pretty obvious to all of us that you and Elizabeth had developed a relationship. You were married, you had kids at the time, life, we all know, well, those of us that have lived it, and it's easy to dismiss it or go, oh yeah, well, everybody goes through that. But when you're on the road as often as we are, and you're challenged, or we were, I should say, and you're challenged in so many different ways the way we were, we all have weaknesses, we all have flaws, we all seek out something to get through the day, the week, the month, the night, whatever. But how did the relationship with you and Miss Elizabeth start?
Well, I think with really, I was had already started there prior to that. as you mentioned, a wife and 2 kids, and but a lot of guys in wrestling, and myself included, went down the road. I was always very private about it. But being the road 3 days a year, that's not an excuse at all. If you're married, you should be married. I mean, once again, looking back now, had just a wonderful wife and 2 beautiful kids. But I started to build basically a wall between the 2, and kind of like it happens in Vegas, goes on Vegas, stays in Vegas, and there was kind of a code of conduct with the boys. We kind of, the era of work hard, play hard, and because of that, I had started to really lead a double life. And the boys didn't really know, but I had other relationships during wrestling, but I never, ever, I just look at the guys that when we started, as you know, also a part of that, what we were talking about prior, all these women were coming, right? The Nitro girls, and then we brought all those fitness girls, and there was just this whole, which was kind of new to wrestling, don't you think? All of so many women. We were a very the first 10 years of my career, we were very male-dominated. And so if the guys did stuff on the road, it was more, I did mine very privately, and obviously we reap what we sow, and I had no business doing that as a married man, but I did, and regrettably, and Elizabeth and she's long been divorced from Randy. Randy saw other girls on TV, and we just kind of, I know that we didn't get together much, Sting and I, but on Monday nights, things were going so well, we'd all kind of get together and celebrate. Remember that at the hotel and stuff?
Oh,
and
sure.
we just, Elizabeth and I just sort of had there was like the guys were in there in the bar, and we were having fun, and just as a working group together, and it was kind of basically innocent flirtation with each other that over time ended up growing into a full-fledged extramarital affair. And she was actually married at the time as well. And neither of us really ever imagined. Liz was always very professional and never like messing around with the guys. Never had the reputation. So I didn't even think that there was a chance of that, of being her having ending up where it ended up, because she was never that way. It was all just a little bit. We had a few years, and we were all together at tables, and turned into kind of a flirtation. And over time, it developed into. We stayed in the same hotels and everything. It ended up turning into a full-fledged extramarital affair.
And Elizabeth was very discreet. She was, in some ways, looking back at it now, she was kind of like you in a way, in that she was always a part of everything, and she was very friendly, and she wasn't aloof necessarily. You may have been at certain stages of your career more aloof, but Elizabeth was there. She smiled a lot. She talked to everybody, but when the show was over, she may have a cocktail or two, but she would tend to disappear. She was very private, so I can see, how that evolved.
And I had a lot of admiration for her professionally, Eric, and the way she conducted herself personally. She wasn't out in the bar hanging out with the guys, so there was respect there for her and what she'd accomplished in her career. I mean, she was the first lady of wrestling, right? I mean, wow, right? So, and it just ended up little by little, turned into, like I said, just a full-fledged, and nobody really knew about it. We kept it completely private for quite a while. I just thought people eventually had a notion, maybe, because we ended up working together and stuff, and a couple people knew, but which I would have denied, of course, and she would have denied. But yeah, we ended up having a full-fledged extramarital affair with board.
Now, did because Randy's a smart guy, and Randy, people ask me this all the time, how did Randy feel about, Miss Elizabeth when she came to WCW? And I always,
Randy and I never talked about this, so I don't want to present, the idea that I'm speaking on behalf of him or on behalf of his memory. But, we didn't really talk about it, but it was always my impression that Randy, he wasn't in love with Elizabeth any longer, but he still cared for her deeply. He still, almost like, he watched over her. He still protected her, even though they weren't in love or married any longer. Did Randy, did he know? Was he an issue for you guys?
He did. Randy and I, if you back in WWF days, we had traveled together for almost a year together. And in the car, you know how close you can get in a relationship with that? We went to the gym together. We worked out together. Randy and I became very close. A lot of people don't know that. And always were all the way through, including the Miss Elizabeth thing. I remember Hogan one time when they found out, we were checking to Vegas at that hotel we always stayed at, what was that huge green hotel, Eric? Can't believe I'm drawing a blank.
MGM.
Yeah, geez. The MGM, and too many chair shots, I guess. And Hogan joked with Elizabeth and I were with a group, but we were kind of looking like we were together, and there was rumors then about us. And I guess Hogan and Randy had it confirmed through somebody that felt they were maybe in the know about us. And Hogan walked up to us in front of Randy and goes, "Man, when you get over somebody, you really get over them." And they kind of, Randy and him both kind of laughed about it because, number one, Randy and I always had a great relationship. So only Randy would know this, but Randy didn't. He had moved on with other relationships with other women. They'd been divorced for years. Randy didn't ever show any animosity or give me any funny looks, or I didn't feel like our relationship had changed at all. That I was in a relationship with Elizabeth. I actually felt kind of bad about that because my friendship with Randy. I felt kind of, man, of all the things, here I am, I'm married, she's married, we end up getting an affair with each other, and it's Randy's ex. Like, of all the women that are available out there, man, well, how did this happen? But Randy always, at least he put out there with me and with her, that he was, Randy and I had a friendship, and he was okay. I don't know, I can't answer right, but he always seemed to be okay with it. Does that make sense?
No, it does. It does.
That was like my impression of Randy did. And you're right, he always did look after Liz. He would call her, and they still talk some, and when she got fired, you were gone by then when she got fired, and Randy would call, and you okay, is there anything I can do? So they did, you are right, they did maintain a friendship that he wanted to always look after her, kind of. I think because he met her when she was really young, and he had kind of a, like you said, a protective, even after the divorce and many years after a relationship with her, in a good way. I mean, not in a jealous way, but in a good way.
I saw that a lot. I mean, my wife Lori and Elizabeth ended up being good friends, along with Janie Engel, who was were really close with me. They were, they go out to Wyoming, go trout fishing, and they became very close. So I kind of saw. I wasn't close to Elizabeth. I didn't spend a lot of time with her, but through my wife, through that association, I got to know her on a little different level than just a working relationship. So I saw that aspect of her life a little bit removed, but I saw it. So to fast forward again, just a little bit, you're in this relationship with Elizabeth, and I will tell you personally, I saw, I towards the end of it, I saw it developing, and it was kind of obvious to me. But when did the drugs hit? When did it start tipping over the edge? And where was it?
Well, for me, Eric, it was something with that. Go back to work hard, play hard. And I used to do social drinks with guys and stuff. And drinking was never really my thing. I think the introduction of, as we see now, the epidemic nationwide of the opioid addiction and all the deaths from the opiates. I started out with I was introduced to biking to get a better workout at the gym because of all the aches and pains and all the years in wrestling. And as my career progressed, I got some more aches and pains. I wanted to get to the workout to keep my look. And I learned if I had a cup of coffee and a Vicodin before I went to the gym, that I got a better workout. I didn't do it all the time. For a big workout or then maybe a big pay-per-view, I'd pop one. And then the guy said, oh, if you ever pop them with beers afterwards and relax, and I'd maybe pop a couple of guys doing that. And I was with the guys who did all the pills and got all that stuff. I used to call them pill poppers. And the irony of me, over a period of time, I always thought I had it under control there. I speak now with youngsters and for drug awareness, and also I go to drug rehab nonprofits and things that are as a speaker. I always been laying a handle on it. I could stop any time and I go, what I thought I had control over ended up controlling over me. Erica was just like a water faucet drip that ended up overflowing into a bucket. And with the drop at a time, I really never saw it coming. And Jim Ross asked me that. I interviewed Jim Ross a while back. He goes, man, I never thought you were into the workouts. I never looked at you as being one of the drug guys. And Eric, you know how many friends and people we were close to and huge stars and everything that we've lost for years. And I don't know, I can't speak for all of them.
Yeah, man.
But
Yeah.
Am I bothering you?
No, what's up?
You said you wanted to let me show you how to do the lights. You want to do that now, or are you too busy?
I'm in an online match. I can't stop what I'm
When are you going to
doing.
be available? I'll be here all morning.
Like 5 to 10 minutes.
All right. Come and get me when you go.
All right.
After I left WCW, still had a contract coming in, and time on my hands, and Elizabeth had moved to Atlanta, and I used to go across town to the gym, and I lived on the other side of town with my wife, because I talked about that double life, I felt like it was starting to close in on me, and then, and it's kind of like, when I used to look at other guys that had problems with drugs, I always said, man, what they did. And Eric, I just never thought it happened to me. Everybody was looking at both Elizabeth and I were hanging around so much together to see that we were drinking and popping pills more. And what are you guys doing? But I used to laugh it off and think, oh man, we're just having a good time. We're just partying a little bit. And man, butt out. And so a few people tried to talk to me about it. But my family tried to talk to me about it, but I didn't think I had a problem. And I ended up having huge problems. Unfortunately, to be a lot, so I don't even know why sometimes so many people close to Derek are here not. I was as likely candidate to not be here as any of them. Only God has the answer to that. But I'm a miracle to still be alive. I got in so deep. And
Man, come on.
after the tragic passing of Liz, then I went into escapism with drugs and alcohol, and there were so many times there that I could have woke up just being another wrestler found dead in a hotel room. I know I'd heard a lot of guys saying that I was like voted most likely to end up dead the next wrestler. It seems like you were falling like dominoes for a while there, and it's not just wrestling. People talk about this as an excuse. Young people making a lot of money, whether I don't know if you agree or not, Eric, but who are music industry, acting, Hollywood. I mean, you look at even Wall Street guys who got overdosed. It just seems to be a big part of that lifestyle you develop. But I never really, it's hard to describe. I never thought I had a problem until I had a huge problem.
You know, I've been fortunate, and I'm not going to lie and say I've never dabbled, because I have. I've popped a Vicodin or two and had a couple beers. I get it. I understand it. But I think what's the most insidious, danger in especially
What do you mean they're accelerating? He's going to do it or what? Everything he sees is go out there. Firm, we need to walk up. No. No.
Thank you for arriving.
us be your guest. Or let us be your host. That's not, how is that their fault that they're not prepared, right? That's their way. Should they be prepared for any kind of attack? And if not, that's part of the civilization. War is over civilization. Well, it's part of the world now. Yeah, that's just... That's what leads to globalization. They want globalization. Yes, they want globalization. They want everything to be the same. Everybody follows the same rules. Everybody's don't want to be different. Everybody wants to be different. I hear most of you are fed up with this shit. Immigrants and all this shit. But it took all these terrorist attacks to defeat me, let fear this. They woke up after these terrorist attacks, and they let it go by after all these years. But you know what? That's their fault. They have a democracy. They voted all these people over the past week, just like we did. Just like we did. They were fed bullshit. I think it's big trouble. I didn't hear about the house. And really, what does it matter? It's not true. It's not like we did anything else anyway. Obamacare was almost changed. Bullshit. No. Trump could have had so many things done right now, but McConnell. McConnell is the thing. They made policies to their people to us. What I'm saying is, what about the thing they made promises to the people? They made promises and they broke it when they didn't go for other health care. They made promises too, and they broke them. When they just go into repeal and replace, we had it all signed off so they didn't go with it. Just because they don't like it. Fucking children. The children. These all this is really out he called them fucking captured soldiers. Get the fuck over. We had no charisma when Obama was talking shit about this, and Ronald Jackson Trump got elected to talk shit about this.
Hey man, who's watching me? At least put a message there. Put a comment or something on the fucking video. I mean, you're watching me and I don't know who you are.
Or two and had a couple beers. I get it. I understand it. But I think what's the most insidious, danger in especially pills, opioids, as you pointed out, Vicodin, Percocet, Tramadol, you name it, it's out there. Is that it's available. You get it from your doctor, or you get it from a friend who got it from a doctor. And it kind of in your mind, it's not like you're not shooting heroin on a street corner, next to a dumpster. You kind of feel like it's okay because it originated from a pharmacy or it originated from a doctor. Even though you're scamming it or whatever, or you're abusing it, you kind of give yourself a mental permission that it's just okay. And it's not immediate. It sneaks up. It grabs you by the throat. It takes over your life before you realize it, as you've just, so eloquently and articulated it in such a great way. Before you know it, you're upside down and you don't know how to get out. And the scary part of it now is that now that the government and the DEA is finally going, wow, we got so many doctors overprescribing these opioids because it's a big business, that people that were otherwise getting those opioids through their pharmacy or through the doctor, by doctor shopping or whatever, now they can't get them anymore, so they go hit up heroin dealers because it's the same drug. It's a different version. It's a different,
cheaper and readily available. You don't have to go to a doctor and get a script for it.
No, it's cheaper. It's more readily available.
You got 46 stars.
Yeah, you're right. You don't have to go to a doctor. You don't have to, put it on your insurance. You can just go, score a bag of heroin. And there are people dying all over the country. And it's basically because of opioid abuse. And people often ask me, steroids, and how about all these guys that died on steroids? I think if you go back and look at, the deaths in wrestling, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm no expert. I don't do a study, but I would venture to say more people have probably passed because of prescription pill abuse and alcohol combinations than from steroids.
Absolutely. I'll never forget. It was actually early morning hours when Liz passed away. We were having just an evening watching movies together and kicking back and sipping on some vodka and popping pills, and literally before the 911 call, I realized she had stopped breathing. Eric, she was standing 5 minutes before that. She was standing at the microwave. We'd been watching movies, and I was heating up some food, and she literally got up and stood right next to me and wanted to help. Oh, no, you go sit down. I got this, and brought hers over her, and then ended up fixing mine. And just so I look back now at the fragility, the recklessness and carelessness that we didn't know what we were playing Russian roulette with. As so many of the guys, Eric, I don't think most of the guys had wife and kids, and wanted to not wake up the next morning, but just the danger, the Russian roulette of playing with drugs like that. And 1 minute she was there, and the next minute I'm wondering why she's not eating, trying to wake her up, and realize she's not breathing, and panicking, and calling 911, and just the tragedy of that, to witness that firsthand. And I'll never forget my attorney, John Taylor, former attorney in Atlanta, that night that when they came in for the 911 call, I used to buy my drugs, because I had the money to do it. I'd buy thousands of pills at one time, because I didn't want to risk having to buy pills on a regular basis. I didn't want to get caught, by the cops or something. So I'd buy thousands of pills at a time. So I just restocked our pill stash, and there was vodka and pills everywhere in these big bottles at my place, and they found them. along with some steroids and things. And there I am. I'll never forget talk about a low point. We talk about a lot of high points and low points. I'm in jail at night. Trying to even, words can't describe, take in what had just happened. That they told me that Elizabeth had just passed. I thought she was going to make it, and she was going to go to the hospital and that she didn't make it. And then I was arrested on, I think, 17 felony counts. And all the drugs they found in my house, Eric. And John Taylor called me jail next morning and goes, "What the hell are you into?" Like, there were so many drugs and everything. He's like, what are you into? What is all that stuff? What was all that stuff doing at your place? And Elizabeth, he was just, he thought so fondly of Elizabeth. John Taylor, he's a wonderful guy. And it was, I mean, I can't even put into words. That was the only time in my life that, I don't talk about it often, but I felt like in the jail cell that night, they put me in isolation by myself because all the inmates were all revved up because there's that wrestler guy in jail in Cobb County, Georgia. And I had the thought, Eric, of climbing on top of the stall divider in the bathroom. And if I took the right kind of bump, I could end him. If I hit my head just right. And I tell people, I share with people, not as a downer, but I try to catch people up. It looked like I had it all, total package, and look, I had it all going on, but I thought I had the drugs under control, but ended up getting control of Elizabeth and I, and with very tragic consequences. And as part of the story I tell to young people and also people that are in rehab facilities and trying to turn the corner. And it was a very dark time, without a doubt. Made a lot of bad decisions that led to it, and with very tragic consequences for a lot of people in the industry. Like, I mean, you look back at how many people we lost. I mean,
fuck,
incredible, really is. But not unusual So like I said, it doesn't make it any better, but it seems that we continue to see it in the entertainment industry with actors and athletes sometimes, etc. No doubt.
It is ironic, and people, tend to like to, single out sports entertainment or professional wrestling, but, hats off to WWE. Look, there's no way any one person or the government or law enforcement or even a spouse or a family member is going to solve the problem definitively. But the fact that the WWE is as aggressive as they are in at least trying to manage it, hats off to them for that. Much respect for that. But they've done great things with the wellness program. I agree totally. And I remember a while back, I go, is there still that drug problem? WWE goes, well, I'm not sure
Don't
I can't
reverse
say none of the guys doing
Fuck.
drugs or anything. I'll tell you this, I go, if they're addicted to anything, it's Xbox 360 Xbox and gaming and stuff. I'm like, they go, that's the guys who were with in my era. And we talk about what we were just talking about, Eric, the road I went down with all that. If that was kind of the tail end of the Work Play Hard era that I was involved in, the Bad Boy era. And it thankfully became not cool anymore to be messed up after the matches all the time and do all the drugs and it really did. I think it was a very concerted effort by WWE with drug testing and wellness program and awareness. But they really have, from what I understand, I'm not in the locker room on the travel with guys, but I'm very excited they've really turned the corner with that in a big way. And now,
good match, man.
And I tell you what, part of the reason I go out and speak now is I share my story to let people know it can happen to anybody.
I got 2 people watching me, 1 person now.
Across all races, income levels, across America, like you talked about. And I was at kind of the front edge of that with the opiate crisis that America's going through now. And thankfully, for me, I guess, heroin wasn't readily available back then, because who knows? That might have been my next step, yeah, it's a big problem in America, not just with the actors and athletes and stuff anymore, and musicians. So it's something that I feel strongly about. I'm thankful that I turned the corner on that, miraculously enough, and I try to give back when I can and tell my story, even though it's to try to increase and do some good. Try to take something that was really tragic and awful in my life, so many of my co-workers' lives, and use it in a positive way now, best that I'm able to.
I admire you for that, Lex. Respect the hell out of you for that. And I want to talk about now. I want to end this on a high note, because you deserve that. Our listeners deserve that. But you really have. I mean, you've detailed your challenges with drugs and all the things that happened as a result of that you experienced,
And they had used it in the early 70s in Los Angeles when the Olympic Auditorium would overflow. They would close circuit the regular house shows to movie theaters so that more people could get in. Dusty came up with the concept of Starcade, a huge show on closed circuit based in Greensboro, North Carolina, and the people would not only come from all over to see the live event, but also they would come from all over to go to wrestling in Greensboro. They'd come from Winston-Salem and High Point and Raleigh and Charlotte and places in the Carolinas market, but at the same point, the territory was so big, would they come all the way from Norfolk? Well, maybe, but if it was on closed circuit in their home market, it might be easier to get them to pay $10 and drive to Greensboro and take a chance on not being able to get in the building. And they went to other NWA cities, also Kansas City, I think it was Puerto Rico. I can't remember where all they sent the first Starcade, but that's why they had talent from a variety of territories on the card, so that there was somebody that was familiar in all the places that they aired the closed circuit. And it was a big success, and obviously Dusty was one of the biggest box office attractions in the business, and naturally with him and Flair together for the title, that was the biggest match they could put on, and it worked. That was, Thanksgiving night of 1983, between the people in Greensboro at the Coliseum and the people who went out in various places to see the closed circuit viewing. It was, somewhere around 50,000 fans saw that one card, which made it one of the most viewed house shows at that time, not televised, but, one of the most viewed house shows in history. And I think by Starcade 86, where we were in the Omni, plus we were in Greensboro, plus the overflow in Greensboro and the closed circuit, showings, I think there were 13 or 14 of them. There was like 60 or more thousand people. So it was that was a huge concept. It was Dusty's idea, and obviously when somebody puts an idea together like that, that does that kind of business, you give them the book, which is what happened.
Good shit.
Our next question comes from Dean Smith from the Crockett territory, less than an hour outside of Asheville. Yes, and they would come from Asheville to Greensboro also. While looking at the OVW Wikipedia page, I noticed that the first OVW champion is listed as an individual going by the name of Trailer Park Trash. The name does not link to anyone, and a Google search does not bring up any wrestler using that name, so I have to ask Jim, who is the man known only as Trailer Park Trash? How the fuck has he managed to avoid finding Trailer Park Trash? There's got to be YouTube out the ass on Trash. Is there not? I've never checked. You never looked? Trailer Park Trash is a gentleman named Frank Miller, who was one of Danny Davis's, he's from Louisville, and he's one of Danny Davis's first students when Danny opened OVW, and trained with Danny, and actually at that point the Memphis territory was still in business, and Trash worked in the mid-90s, worked Memphis, when basically they were, I think they were out of the Mid-South Coliseum by that point, so the biggest building they ran was the Louisville Gardens. And Trash, because he was on TV in town. Then later on when they folded and Danny, pretty much took over Louisville with OVW as a promotion as well as a training school, that's, shortly after that, he was one of the top guys and obviously the champion. And then shortly after that, I came in and brought the developmental program, and we used Trash, heavily for the first 3 or 4 years that we were in business, because it got to the point from him being on Memphis TV and the Memphis TV that would air in Louisville and working at the Gardens and just everybody around town knowing him, and his gimmick was not a gimmick in any way, shape, or form. He was over in Louisville as a local celebrity to the point where if he would go to a U of L football game, there would be sporadic trailer park trash chants breaking out, right? And he was a hell of a worker and a great guy, lacking in physique and not cosmetically pleasing, so the WWF never took a look at him, but his work was good. He used to tear the house down with Flash Flanagan. I mean, and Trash was legitimate. As a matter of fact, he was well known also when there was a point in time where he was in the Germantown neighborhood of Louisville, where he's from, where he was pulled over by the police. I think it was some kind of roadblock, and they were checking people. And while he had a drink, I'm sure, because it was a day with a Y in it, he was not intoxicated or impaired or whatever the fuck, but they got kind of snooty with him, and he decided he wasn't going to stay for the lecture, and ended up leading them on a high-speed chase through downtown Louisville, where people were gathered at corners yelling, "Go, Trash, go!" And Trash didn't wrestle for OVW for a while after that. He had to go away for a period of time down to another county in Kentucky. We wrote letters for him telling everybody what a good guy he was. But then, yes, he came back. He's worked for Danny as recently as a few years ago. He was booking for a while. He was the guy in charge of events because he wrestled a pretty physical style with a lot of bumps and a lot of furniture, and his body has not held up great, but he's doing okay walking around, but he doesn't need to be taking any big bumps anymore. But he's still been, until the last couple of years, was working with Danny, and now, last I heard, he has a restaurant over in southern Indiana. I don't know if I've ever equated Trailer Park Trash and fine dining together, but I understand they have a hell of a hand-formed burger patty. I haven't been all the way out that way
Come
yet.
on, baby fun.
But you ought to be able to find Trailer Park Trash. My God, he was at the big garden shows with all the developmental guys. We sold the tapes everywhere. It's got to be out there somewhere. He just ain't been looking hard enough.
Well, the issue may be it's not an easy Google search. If you put Trailer Park Trash in a Google search, you're going to get lots of pictures that aren't the wrestler.
Come on.
Well, he ought to put down Trailer Park Trash Wrestler.
There you
or
go.
OVW. Or what? I don't even know how to work this shit, and I'm telling this guy how to search shit on the computer?
I think that was good search engine advice.
There you go.
Our next question from Kirby G. Mack. What happened to Ahmed Johnson? I heard it as something to do with the fact that he did not want to put over a girl, and at the time was told he needed to drop the strap to China. It seems like he came through the WWF like a storm, injured a few people, got injured, came back with a vengeance, and then disappeared until he showed up on WCW, pounds heavier. What was pounds, even not just ounces, but pounds heavier. What was his deal?
Great googly moogly. No, I can't think of Ahmed Johnson with that because that's what literally. I can't remember who started. It may have been Bruce. I don't know where it came from, but it was like that was the extent of what you could derive from Ahmed Johnson's promos. Great googly moogly. I don't know what he was fucking saying. I mean, he got it. He was from Texas and burst on the scene somehow because Vince saw that body, and I guess he had been trained. I don't know what his background was. I didn't make it my point to investigate Ahmed's background. But he had been in the business a very short time. He looked like that. You know, I mean, he could have been Junkyard Dog times 10 with the push they gave him, but he was A, injury prone, B, prone to injure other people, C, not as physically equipped as he was for the wrestling business. He was not mentally equipped for the wrestling business. D, began believing that he was over to the extent of and even greater than his push rather than his actual performance. All of the above. And he was just one of those, he was a ship that passed in the WWF night. And then whatever he had been doing to look like that, by the time he showed up at WCW, he had quit doing it. And he may have been in the fucking room with Yoko when Yoko ate the Duke weight loss clinic. I don't know what, and my favorite Ahmed Johnson story was what he did to Dennis Corluzzo when finally his brief career, I mean, he's main eventing WWF pay-per-views, and 2 years later he's working for Dennis Corluzzo in fucking, Rahway, New Jersey or whatever. That's about how it happened. But in that instance, Dennis had booked him, and when he was at the hotel, Ahmed was in his room, and Dennis sent a guy to pick him up and take him to the show, and Ahmed didn't want to ride in the guy's car, said, I need a limousine, and refused to leave the hotel after flying to New Jersey apparently from Texas, refused to leave the hotel in wherever the fuck Dick Lick, New Jersey it was, to go 5 minutes to the fucking high school unless he had a limousine. So Dennis announced at the show on the PA system in front of the sold-out crowd that Ahmed had refused to come to the show from the hotel to wrestle for those fine folks because we didn't send a limousine for him. So if you'd like to call him and express your displeasure, his number is boom boom, and gave the number and the room number, and people called him all fucking night. And so he flew to New Jersey, didn't work, didn't get paid because he didn't get a limo, didn't get any sleep, and went back fucking home. That's the last I've heard of Ahmed Johnson. He was a shit.
Ahmed showed up right
Let's
around
go,
the time
baby,
Bill
fuck.
Watts was in the WWF at that brief period of time where,
Yes, as a matter of fact, yes. And Watts, I'm sure, obviously thought, and same thing as Vince. I mean, Vince wasn't thinking Junkyard Dog. Vince was probably thinking Ernie Ladd or Bobo Brazil or whatever, but they were going to make a huge black superhero. And
What?
he could have been rolling in money if he'd have just been able to get his shit together. But I mean, and then the bell rang. He looked great.
Get the fuck out
and
of
even
here.
his promos, even though you couldn't understand a word he said, it sounded like he meant something. So if he'd have got his shit together on that side of it, not hurt other people, and not become a raging, egomaniac about his push, chances are he would have been rolling in money.
Our next question comes from Cameron in Illinois. Ric Flair has been quoted saying, if Crockett had stayed south of St. Louis, they'd still be in business today. Does Jim agree with this? Could he expand on why or why not?
Well, the actual geographical statement was east of the Mississippi, but south of St. Louis will work, I guess. Basically, what he was saying was, if Crockett had not tried to expand across the entire United States of America, if he had kept his home base of Charlotte and not moved to Dallas for a office area, if he had not, if he'd stayed with North and South Carolina and Virginia and Georgia, and maybe to an extent the major markets in Florida, plus the towns he had like Philly and Baltimore that we were doing head-and-head or better business than the WWF, and Chicago, that was huge, even after the situation when they didn't put the belts on the Starrcade 87, which was a strategic mistake there. But those markets and St. Louis and East Tennessee, which they could go over there from Georgia and Carolinas, and the point is, we made ill-advised trips to Albuquerque, New Mexico, West Texas. One time we went to Minneapolis. I think the house was like $15,000, and we could do that in Gaffney, South Carolina on a Tuesday night. So that's what Flair was saying. Crockett tried to expand all across the country because that's what he was doing, and getting I understand it, getting the television syndication, because they wanted to sell advertising time, and that was going to be the wave of the future. But then to having to either run those towns because they had a deal with the station that they would and they'd buy advertising, or just running them because they had TV, which they did in some cases. It was ridiculous. There was no reason. Pro wrestling was not meant to be and should never be national, because then it basically sucks. There's never been a great national promotion because you're presenting one style of wrestling to everybody, and people don't all like that style of wrestling. And I'm not talking about these fucking jack-offs and assholes and fucking dipshits that talk, well, I like the style of wrestling where they wrestle blow-up dolls and grade school girls, and everyone super kicks each other until their dicks get hard. I'm talking about East Tennessee fucking bloody fucking fighting versus goddamn the Best of Florida Championship Wrestling, which was scientific wrestling, or the great work in the Carolinas as opposed to the Memphis Mayhem, or as opposed to the world class style or South wrestling style. They were all different, and they appealed to the area of the country, the part of the country they were in. And as you spread out, the product gets watered down and diluted. And besides that, one guy's not going to be over everywhere in the world like a guy can be regionally. That's why you have to wait a generation for a Hulk Hogan or a Steve Austin or a Jim Londos or a fucking Buddy Rogers or whatever. So anyway, that's if Crockett had stayed where his base fans were, where he was over, where he had good deals with the buildings and the TV stations, it didn't just have to be the Carolinas, but it should have been the Southeast and West area of the country that were used to good, realistic, believable wrestling. The Northeast, for the most part, up in Boston, New York, etc., they'd seen WWF style for a long time, and you weren't going to rock a lot of people off of that. But Philly and Baltimore was a little harder edge crowd, and they wanted to see some blood and a real fight, not just goddamn dressed up midgets. So, that worked. But stay in your lane, folks. That's the moral of the story.
Yeah, and it goes for more than one thing. Obviously, it's not just running shows, but one of the things that hurt Crockett was taking on that giant syndication package of Bill Watts.
Oh, God, yeah.
And it became a syndication war between him and Vince, and, Crockett had more than he ever could fill, and it was just too much for him.
Well, and plus Vince had, that's the one big advantage that Vince had. Vince had a great office with a lot of really smart people in charge of doing the things they did, unrelated to wrestling. TV syndication or merchandising or whatever the case may be. And Crockett had some well-meaning folks and a lot of people who didn't know what the fuck they were doing, and not as many of them. That was the difference. Nobody can look. No sane, rational human being, if you want to go ahead and say it, can look at the WWF wrestling product of 1986 and the NWA wrestling product of 1986 and should be able to say, I'm not talking about talent, because both sides had a lot of great talent. But as far as the product, for anybody to be able to say, well, the WWF should have won that war, they'd be fucking insane or blind. It was the shits. Where Vince whipped us all was hiring smart people outside the wrestling business to do the things that the jobs that they were creating. There'd never been those jobs.
Come on, baby fuck.
That you needed to include people outside the business.
You like messing with me?
There was a natural reticence, rightfully so,
Let's go.
toward including outsiders in the wrestling business to begin with in any capacity. And you only tolerated the ones that you had to and worked at TV stations as local cameramen or whatever.
This is
or
bullshit.
the local radio DJ that was would sell a few tickets and plug the matches, so he became the ring announcer. You tolerated outsiders that you had to, but you didn't go look for them. Vince went and looked for them because he didn't give a fuck about
Come on,
exposing
baby
business.
fuck.
So Crockett's wrestling, Crockett's NWA wrestling in general, but Crockett's wrestling, Crockett's wrestlers, the style of same, the TV shows, they were all better than Vince's. But Vince had better people outside the wrestling business.
We know Crockett had voices in his ear saying, we got to go after Vince. I'm almost saying this in a dusty list, but I won't. We have to go head-to-head with Vince. We have to go everywhere.
Do you think he had voices in his ear saying, don't do that, let's just hold our ground, maybe even go into Florida because of what happened there? But was there anyone saying, let's not push it this far? Yeah, David Francis and Jackie. Oh my God, I'm sure they were definitely saying it. Yes, I mean, there was proponents of both sides, and a lot of, but once again, a lot of the old guard in that instance was put in a position of, well, they're old and set in their ways, and they don't understand that everything has to evolve. Evolution is when shit gets better. When the fucking thing that has to live now on land instead of in the water grows lungs instead of gills because it has to adapt to live or whatever, it gets better. De-evolution, sort of like what's been experienced by the Republican Party, is when shit gets worse, and that's what's happened to wrestling. So, and it was the same thing then. A lot of the old timers that had seen this shit before and knew what was going to happen, or like, well, knew the flavor. Or like, no,
come on, baby,
go too far too fast, and they're cautious, they're old-fashioned, they're whatever the fuck, and tragedy ensues when people don't listen to people's advice and kind of have experience in these type of things. Yes, de-evolution never good.
Come on, good match. Hey, Eddie, let's go. Where you at, baby? 80-13. Come on, baby.
Our next question
Where you at, baby?
is from one big dude, and he says, "P.S. Thanks for saving my life in Nam." Okay?
Come on,
okay,
Eddie.
Very good. Yes, I'm Manny Fernandez now, and I served in Vietnam.
I don't know how many people are going to get that reference, but like many dudes my age, I had a huge mega crush on Baby Doll. I had every curve of her glorious body memorized.
Oh, good night. I didn't need to hear that.
Any fun stories about her? How did Sam Houston, her one-time husband while working for Crockett, handle all the adulation that came her way?
Well, not real well. He got kicked off the plane. When they first got together as young people, making a lot of money in an exciting, glamorous environment as being TV stars will do, they tended to not sometimes exercise the appropriate discretion, and they would make out on Crockett's plane. And I mean, energetic making out on while all the other, but she's the only girl, right? I love you, doll, if you're listening. And we had a great match in Spartanburg last year. We really did. But it'd be all the guys going to the show, and Sam was kind of like, it seated 14 people, and Sam his position on the roster when he'd get on the plane was number 14 on the plane to begin with. And she was a top star at that time, and he was underneath. So, anyway, they would energetically, it looked like two anteaters going at it. They would energetically make out, and that happened about 2 or 3 times, as I recall, until some of the boys, I think, just said to the appropriate person, whether it's Dusty or Jimmy Crockett or whatever. I don't think Dusty was on the plane that time when they were doing it. He was probably on the jet, not the prop jet, the Jabroni jet. Anyway, you never saw Sam on the plane again. And I think it wasn't long until you never saw Sam again. I like both of them. Sam, what a talent. But Sam had issues also, which he's talked about, I guess, in the past now and everything. But yeah, I didn't. So Tully Blanchard was not the first one to get kicked off the plane for making Dusty mad. It was Sam Houston for making out with Baby Doll.
What was the question? Any fun Baby Doll stories? I just watched one recently where she punched her in the back of the head.
That was in Raleigh, North Carolina. We had this match with the Road Warriors, and it was the all-time record crowd. I sound like Nick Goulas now. The all-time record crowd in Raleigh at Dorton Arena. It was it wasn't a bash show, but it was July '86. It was a bash lineup. They taped TV there. Every top star was there, and Dorton Arena in Raleigh is the arena that Big Time Wrestling has run it recently. It's historically significant architecturally. It has all the windows along the back of the arena that you see. And you could see in the tape, even though it was mostly dark outside, a head popped up in the shadow of every window. It was like jammed. And so the Midnight Wrestles the Road Warriors, they're having this match, boom, 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 and it's out there because it was on TV. I think it was on syndication. Anyway, goddamn, at some point, we have the finish, and Paul Ellering is chasing me around the ring. And I'm only supposed to go one loop around because Bubba is there, my bodyguard, and we don't want to leave him stranded, right? When Paul's chasing me. But the idea is that I'm running away from Paul, and Baby Doll runs down the ringside and knocks me out with a big knockout punch she's learned from, Ronnie Garvin and Dusty and whoever. Well, Jordan Arena is it's got a huge floor area, and it was all full, and she was late. So I take the one lap around the ring running from Paul, and I see down the aisle that there ain't no I see her in the distance. I think, well, I'm going to take another lap around the ring. So I go around the ring, and now Bubba's trying to figure out, why am I not stopping Paul Ellering from chasing my guy, I take another lap around the ring, and I see Baby Doll coming. So I turn around to look at Ellering to give her a chance to get where she needs to be, and then I'm going to turn around, and there she is. She's going to punch me. Well, she's panicked because she knows she's late. And as I turn around to look at Ellering like I've lost Ellering, I'm going to turn right. I didn't have the chance. She just ran at a dead run. And with the Lubbock High School girls shot put champion like form that she had back when she was that, she drives her right fist into the base of my brain from behind at the skull. And I see all and they slow-moed it. It looks so fucking good. When they went to the break, you see her hitting my head. I look like Kennedy in the Zapruder film. Fucking head snaps back. I saw all kinds of sparkly things. You see Bubba standing there with his arms out like, now a woman is beating my guy up, and I'm not. And I went down. I didn't have any choice. I thought actually at first a fan had hit me from behind. I go down and I'm grabbing for Bubba, and you see me stumbling and grabbing for him as I fall, and fuck. But there was also the time in St. Louis, we were in a cage. It was me and Bobby and Dennis Condor against Dusty Rhodes, Magnum TA, and Baby Doll in the cage in St. Louis. That's a Checkadome, baby. And the spot is going to be that I miss an elbow on one of my boys has one of the baby faces down. And I tag in, so I miss an elbow, boom, so that baby face can tag Baby Doll, and when I come up, there she is in front of me, and she's going to take a big swing like she's going to slap me, but I'm going to fall backwards and fucking shock of her, and she's narrowly going to miss me, and I'm going to run and tag out. Just a little tease spot, right? I turn around as I'm coming up, and she's in the ring, and she hauls off to miss the slap and just clocked me. Right in the fucking left jaw under the ear. It dislocated my jaw with her open hand.
You're a pussy, bro.
Have you ever had your jaw dislocated? I've had about 3 or 4 times. What happens is whatever side and not badly, but whatever side you get hit on, the jaw pops out on the other side. Because it's a hinge, right? And it's right at the ear. So it actually, besides the blow of the hitting on one side, what hurts is the other side, because that's where it pops out. So, anyway, and Bobby did it to me one time on Halloween Havoc 1990. The last one we did before we quit, the match against Riggy Morton and Tommy Rich, when I roll in the ring and Bobby's coming to give me the tackle, but I had to go around the fucking cameraman who was in the way, and because they had a ramp at the other side they'd never used before, and it fucked up all of our timing. And I didn't have time to stand up, and Bobby plows into me and knocked my jaw again in the same direction. So, but anyway, she hits me with the slap. I go down seeing all the sparkly things again. I said, fuck. But it popped right back in. It goes out, and you hear it, and it's kind of a strange fucking thing, and then it does that sparkly burn for a little while. But for 3 days afterwards, you can't chew. It fucking, because I remember in Chicago, I went out with my in-laws to have a nice steak dinner, and I had to cut it into just small, tiny pieces and stick it the other side of my mouth, because I was sore by that point. I couldn't chew. And it hurts to fucking clamp your teeth down. But anyway, I digress. Those are some of my more we drew a lot of money. Doll and I drew a lot of money, and they still enjoyed it. We did the thing for Big Time Wrestling last year, 30 years afterwards, we had one more shorter single match, and it's very many people were into it. It was fun. I got death threats over Baby Doll when I did the one thing where I gave her the tennis racket handle shot in the
You
stomach.
pussy. Fucking pussy. You won't mess with me.
And here came the fucking...
Come on.
The cavalry to save her, and everybody was concerned about her. We run off and laugh about it. Later on, they announced that she might not be able to have children. We got death threats and had all our guns in our cars for about a month after that while we were working the loop with her. They gave a shit, obviously not to the extent of this letter writer, but a lot of people were Baby Doll was over with. They cared about her.
Our next question comes from Scott Random.
It's just a random question.
Whatever happened to the Z-Man Tom Zink? His career ended in the mid-90s after being released by WCW for 2 short stints in All Japan and the AWF. In the early days of the internet, he was extremely outspoken against his time in the WWF and WCW, but then seemingly disappeared. The only thing I could find is this mugshot from 12 years ago, which
Oh, good Lord.
email. First, can Jim share some positive and or negative memories of Tom Zink in WCW? Second, why was Zink's career over before he reached 40? Was he blackballed? Third, does Jim have any clue what Zink
How many random questions does he have? Third, what was third?
Third, does Jim have any clue what Zink has been up to? I don't recall seeing his name on any convention or other type of pro wrestling appearances since those shoot interviews from the early 2000s.
No, I don't know where he is. I haven't seen or heard. I have not seen or heard from Tom Zink, as far as I know, since last time that I worked with him in WCW. Now, having said that, no, I don't think he was blackballed, and he wasn't into. He was a. And we've talked about it when we told some Brian Pillman stories here lately, but real briefly, Tom Zink was a great-looking guy who was on a $3,000 a week contract in 1990 for WCW because he was a good athlete and a great-looking guy who you would think, and a lot of people did that didn't know much about wrestling, like Jim Hurd, you would think would be a main event level guy because he was a good-looking guy and had the size and everything, but he just didn't connect. And he was a nice guy. His promos weren't the worst I've ever seen, but they were far from the best. His work was not the worst I've ever seen, but it was far from the best. His attitude was not the worst I've ever seen, but it was far from the best. Tom just didn't catch on, and nothing really distinguished him. The only thing that I ever know that I guess I can say this now, it's been 27 years since I was on the booking committee. I got the first time they did a drug test in WCW. I remember they were talking about it, and basically they knew going in. At that time, I think the 3 people in the company that would have been able to pass the drug test were me, Ric Flair, and Ole Anderson. So they knew that, but they were, I think, checking for more serious things or the steroid level. They just wanted to see where everybody was at. And the only results I really remember people talking about and laughing about were that Zink failed the test for pot spectacularly, with levels never before having been seen by the doctors or something like that. But no, I didn't have any crosswords with him, but we weren't real close friends either. It was like he was just there and then he wasn't. I think that probably is, then maybe he probably didn't like the rest. After working at WWF and WCW, where else are you going to go? And he was used to making big money because he'd always made it. When he started out in working for Vern in the dying days of the AWA, but he got a spot real quick because of the way he looked. So, you get in the wrestling business, he's never really good and really bad, money, and then companies that can pay him big money and nobody else, can, and he wasn't in demand because he wasn't very good. So, I'm sure he's found some other things to do.
The Adrian Smed of professional wrestling, Tom Zink. I must say, I was 9 years old when he came into the NWA and 10 years old when he kind of got that push with him and Pillman as an undercard tag team feuding with the Express. And then, of course, he got the TV title. I think he beat Arn Anderson for the TV title. He was over. It would have been done with him despite whatever he could do in the ring. Maybe a heel turn would have been good considering his natural personality. But you know, you look at his runs, he was in the WWF, they were about to put the rocket on the Can-Am connection, and whatever the falling out was between him and Martel and him in the office, he's gone, they replaced him with Tito Santana, and then he was in the AWA a little bit, he was in Portland a little bit. You actually, I brought something up to you a while back, and you told me you had no memory of it, and I just looked it up. Tom Zink had a cup of coffee in '84 in Mid-South. Do you remember this?
What? I do not. Well, I didn't know he was even working that early. Oh my God, then in that case he should have been a lot better in Atlanta.
He was on the undercard of the last New Orleans.
What?
Tom Zink beat Jerry Gray.
You know what? Now, where did you see this?
I'm looking results online. He worked April 2nd.
Results online. Do you have the program for that event?
I don't have the.
I do have the program for that event, and it is not within reach because, for one thing, it's framed and on my wall. But I'm thinking that someone wrote the wrong name down because there was a guy at that point in time in Mid-South, a big bald guy with a mustache and a beard named Tom Lentz, Lentz. And that makes some sense, but Tom Zink does not make sense in that spot. And I'm going to bet you $10 that somebody's made a mistake right now. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it, $10. Wait, we need to verify, and maybe I can do this, or maybe I can just get off my fucking lazy ass and take that frame off the program, but I think it's Tom Lentz.
I will accept your $10 bet. I have found 3 results, and let me just frame this with what made me look for this. Years ago, Tom Zink was on Dave Meltzer's show, and he mentioned that he didn't get along with Bill Watts, and he said part of the reason was he worked for Bill Watts for less than a week in 1984, and his father died, and when he went to come back to Minnesota, Watts said, "You're a flake, boy." And that was the comment. I found 3 results. April 2nd, 84, Baton Rouge. Tom Zink defeated Jerry Gray, and on that show, Bobby and Dennis beat Porkchop Cash and Bill Dundee. And then on April 6th, 84, in Houston, Tom Zink defeated John King. And again, you guys wrestled Dundee and Porkchop on that show. And then, of course, the Superdome, the last Stampede. The second match from the opening match listed here is John King defeated Joe Savaldi, and then Tom Zink defeated Jerry Gray.
Well, all right, then in that case, I guess I've lost the $10 to you. I'll get that in the mail to you. But I don't even remember him. And that does sound like something that Bill Watts would have said. He said you should have you should have gone to the funeral before you left town, or something like that.
I just love that, though. Mr. Watts, I have to leave. I'm so sorry. You're a flake, boy. What?
You just got here. Well, but you know what? Okay, then that means he had been wrestling for 6 years in 1990.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, okay, well, in that case, take back what I said about, he shouldn't have been that good at it. He's the one.
Yeah.
Literally,
You didn't have to do that. Just leave them in the dryer, and I'll put them on when I get up.
Clash, I believe. It
But
was
it's a whole bunch of clothes that you're not wearing right now.
Well, you didn't have to do that. I would have folded them at some point.
A huge hip toss, and the spot was going to be that he hip tossed Brian. And when Brian fed up to his feet, Zink would go to the corner, jump up, and do a turnaround crossbody. Well, when he hip tossed Brian's out there working hard. He's probably trying to get a job. He takes a hit. Brian's 6'4" and 275 or whatever. Takes a huge hip toss, lands all the way across the ring, and bounces up into the turnbuckles, and doesn't have time to regain his feet because he's just been thrown all the way across the ring. And Zink turns around without looking, jumps up on the far turnbuckles, and does a turnaround crossbody into the middle of the ring to dead air. It looked like a suicide attempt on national television, and landed on his face, and oh, for God's sake. Anyway, yeah, that was, it was another case. We had 2 programs like that in WCW. The Midnight Express did. We worked with Brian Pillman and Z-Man, which meant we had a tag team program with Brian Pillman. And we had a tag team program with the Dynamic Dudes, which meant we had a tag team program with Shane Douglas.
Back to back.
If we could have just put Shane Douglas together with Brian Pillman, that may have worked.